Back to 2016, Vance was a never Trumper. He said in a Facebook message to one of his associates, he compared Trump to being America's Hitler. He called him an idiot and said various disparaging remarks against him. But time moved forward, and as Vance moved into the Senate in 2022, things really started to change. And we're hearing more now, thanks to some reporting from NBC on Tuesday, how this kind of came about. It's all been happening really over the course of the last week. We are being told from this report that Donald Trump didn't have Vance at the top of his list, but he was more leaning towards Doug Burgum, the governor of North Dakota, also a billionaire who also ran for president and Donald Trump beat in the primaries. Well, that was ultimately poo-pooed by his two sons. That is who we are told were the people who put forward Vance's name. It should be noted that J.D. Vance is quite a good friend of Donald Trump Jr., of course, the eldest of the Trump children. And it was after a conversation with his two sons that Donald Trump ultimately changed his mind. So it was a really interesting turn of events as to how that insider knowledge was working over the course of the last couple of days. We found out that Marco Rubio ultimately was a no-go because of the fact that he also was from Florida, and due to constitutional quirks, you could not have the vice president and the president be from the same state, and they thought that would cause some legal issues. So Marco Rubio apparently, we are told, admitted to Trump that that would be a bit of an issue, but he didn't ultimately withdraw his name from the race. But it then fell really to J.D. Vance and Donald Trump thinking that he can solidify the future of the party with J.D. Vance, because as many people have pointed out, they are quite similar in a lot of their outlooks and a lot of their positions as well. Joe Biden actually just on Monday said that J.D. Vance was the clone of Donald Trump. So the Biden campaign trying to get ahead of this narrative as well, to push the fact that J.D. Vance is just Trump, but significantly younger. So it's kind of a bit of a political messaging war at the moment, even in the wake of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump just this past weekend.
Indeed, and that assassination attempt, Fraser, as you're well aware, drew that a social media post from J.D. Vance blaming Biden's rhetoric for that attack, which some people might seem is quite rich, given the type of stuff that many Republicans have said and continue to say online.
Yeah, and it's also something interesting as well, because in the wake of that attack, the message coming from the Democrats was unity and to calm the national rhetoric. And interestingly, it also was the same rhetoric, that the calming rhetoric was also what Donald Trump was saying. We are told that Donald Trump has rewritten the speech he's going to be giving here on Thursday in the wake of that attack to make it more unifying and to really try to calm down and cool the national temperature. Whether that, of course, actually comes to fruition, we will see on Thursday. Donald Trump is known for going off script in many of his speeches, so whether he can maintain that calming message throughout will be something that we will be keeping an eye on. But the fact that he called for calm and for peace after that assassination attempt, and then just 2 days later chose somebody who said that it was because of the Democrats and Joe Biden's campaign rhetoric that this assassination took place. This assassination attempt took place, rather. That was quite an interesting jump that I think a lot of people have definitely been keeping an eye on as well. So there is a bit of a mixed messaging on that front, but a lot of people that I'm speaking to here, a lot of the journalists as well, are expecting Trump to give this unity message on Thursday, but are not expecting that message to hold true for the rest of the campaign. They think that within a couple of weeks, once this is kind of blown over somewhat, that he will be back to giving the same speeches that have made him a hallmark of American politics for almost a decade now.
Indeed, you're riding the wave of American politics there, Fraser, and it is only going to get bigger and bigger. Thank you very much for joining us. Always great to see you. Enjoyed the convention, and we look forward to hearing what you observe in the coming hours. Fraser Jackson, our Washington correspondent, who's made that journey over to Milwaukee for the Republican Party convention. Fraser, pleasure working with you, sir. Thank you very much indeed.